Hello everybody, I'm now at the isolation facility. It's a 3-star hotel, has a really good view, and this is really the first time to sit outside in I don't even know how many days. Maybe I was in hospital 11. Last night I couldn't sit outside, and before that I was mostly just in bed. So it's good to be outside. And there's my view. But even sitting here and talking with my mask on is hard. I can see the ocean. So beautiful. It's amazing how, you get stuck in a hospital and you miss things like this. It's almost surreal to be out of the hospital. I just, laid in bed for 11 days and had these people coming in and checking my blood at like 3 a.m., taking blood from me, and, just bringing me food in the daytime and everything. And it's just days just kind of blend into the next day, laying in bed all the time, trying to get some sleep, watching videos on YouTube and Netflix. The TVs were broken. They disinfect the rooms all the time, and I guess they sprayed the TVs too, and it broke the TVs. So there was TVs in the room, but you couldn't turn them on. So it was just the phone. That's all I had, and no regular TV. So always trying to search for the next Netflix video, always trying to find a video to watch on YouTube or something, and then just laying in bed. It was horrible. And now in my hotel, I've got some, live TV, so I don't have to make choices. It's kind of nice just to lay in bed and even see commercials pop on, and fell asleep with the TV last night. It was really, really nice. The nurses come in and check on me. They check my condition and my blood saturation for oxygen twice a day, in the morning and night. Check my fever. They've called me a few times this morning, asked how I'm doing, ask about my condition and if I stayed in the room and how I'm getting on. So that's nice. And they bring me food 3 times a day for free. And also the nice thing here is, if I know somebody, they can deliver something, or if I figure out the app for delivery, I can have something delivered. They bring it right down here, and then they drop it at the door, and then the nurses bring it up. So I haven't figured that out yet, but the university HR official, he was real nice. He went shopping at 2 stores last night, and he brought me a whole bunch of stuff, vitamins and medication that I needed, some granola and juice, and he even brought me a couple slices of cheese pizza to celebrate getting out of the hospital. That was really nice. A couple Little Caesars cheese pizza from Kmart, those slices you get. They were so good, even though they were kind of cold. I really enjoyed that. So I'm going to be here for a while, I think, maybe up to a week. I'm not exactly sure. They'll decide when they're going to let me go. The doctor said that I probably will still be testing positive for the COVID virus. Even though the virus is mostly inactive, it might be slightly active. He said that the body has to break down the viruses, and the mRNA strands are still intact or partially intact, so it'll still come back with a positive test result for some time. So even though I'm not having any viral shedding or anything like that, you can tell I'm out of breath just talking to you guys. Sitting here is hard. I'm used to laying down all the time. So just using my back muscles and stuff is hard. But I'm trying to get some strength back step by step, little by little. But anyway, the doctor said until the body completely clears that virus, I could still come back with a positive result. So until that's cleared, I'm probably going to be here a little while. So anyway, it doesn't matter. It's nice to have people looking out for me, checking me, calling me and make sure I'm doing okay. You know, checking my blood oxygen in the morning and night. My smartwatch does it too, so I can keep an eye on that. If I exert myself at all, it drops down to about 88, 89%, which is pretty low. If it was down like that regularly, I better get to the hospital. But you know, if I just walk to the door, it drops down to that. So I got to sit down and breathe, and then it'll go back up to 93, 94, 95. But the mask takes away a little bit. People always talk about, you know, do you lose oxygen and get too much CO2 with the mask on? And the reality is, you know, my lungs are not working as well as they should. It's just because of COVID, it's really wrecked me. But I can say this much, the mask does have an effect because I'm so weak. If I move around with the mask, it will drop down, but it's only a few percentage points. And that's because I can't breathe very well through the mask because I'm just no power. But you guys with your masks on, you know, even if it drops 1%, it's nothing. It's nothing at all. You know, so don't worry about that. I mean, this is firsthand experience with this. This mask definitely gets me winded, but I mean, if I just sit down and breathe, I'm okay. So, but talking through it is a little hard. Talking in general is just hard for me right now. So, I want to make some videos. I want to talk to you guys a little bit, especially my friends and family and everybody back in Korea. I miss you guys. I love you guys. Thanks for everybody out there in America and around the world who's been leaving messages and likes on my posts and trying to keep my spirits up. I was in a really dark place. I just thought I was going to die. And it was, you know, touching the mortal coil, I guess you could say, walking with death for a little while. It's really a humbling experience. All the people who came around me and these doctors, and you know, we talk about doctors and nurses, but until they're there doing their best to save your life and keep your spirits up and really there trying hard just to, you know, make you have some will to live, it really, you know, you never really know. You don't understand what these people go through. We can never understand what these nurses and emergency people go through for us, and all the experience they've had and all the knowledge they have, and they use that to save my life. And I'm here today because of those people. So never let anybody tell you, a bunch of Facebook people gathering around, talking, babbling like a bunch of hens and roosters. They don't know what they're doing. They just hear some papers or some random research that they don't even clearly understand, and they're gonna tell you that it trumps doctors' experience. And this doctor's that I had, he had COVID and he had firsthand experience, and he talked about his experience with it and how he recovered, and told me what I'm gonna have to probably go through. And he was 100% right, you know, and he told me each person's unique, each body is unique. So there's plenty of room for people to get their propaganda in and stuff, but these doctors, man, they are trying. They don't want a single person out there to suffer or die, and they're doing the best they can with all their heart and all their energy. And here these people out there in the world are saying things, it hurts me. I mean, I knew it was wrong before, but now that these people saved my life, you know, and it took care of me when I was helpless, you know, it's just, it's hard to just swallow. And here, they told me stories like people tell them, you know, it's nothing and it doesn't mean anything, and you know, the vaccine doesn't help. And they see firsthand. I saw a guy come in next to me. They said, "Are you vaccinated, sir?" And he said, no. They said, why not? He was a roommate, came in from ER right when I was coming into. And they said, why not? And he said, I was scared. I was scared of the vaccine. And the doctor said to him, I'm so sorry. You're going to have to find out which is scarier now, getting a vaccine that could probably save your life and turn this around and prevent it, or even prevented it, or now you're going to have to fight for your life. And he was in my room, he was coughing, couldn't breathe, he was begging for air, and his wife called him on the phone. He was probably in his early 50s or even 40s, I'm not sure. And his wife was on the phone to him. He couldn't talk to her, he couldn't breathe. They had him on oxygen, and his wife was begging him to live. She was saying she couldn't live without him. She was crying. She was begging him, and he was in the room coughing, and he was really having trouble. And they moved him to ICU. They took him out. I'm not exactly sure what happened to him. Nobody told me. They wouldn't talk to me about him. Only thing I heard was just, incidental through the curtain. And when they took him out, his wife was yelling at him on the phone to live and live for her. And they were talking about taking him down to ICU. I don't know what happened. In the news I read a couple days later, somebody died in ICU, around 52, I think. Unvaccinated guy. He was in bad shape. I don't know. That was so sad. Maybe he's okay. They never told me. But it just, I hope he's okay. It was really hard to hear that, I thought about my family and my wife, and it was my kids when I heard his wife yelling at him, and it broke my heart. And I knew I had to get through it, but it's like no matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, I just had no power. I couldn't do anything, and I was going downhill. The doctor was telling me, you're going to be in the ICU. If you go down one more day, you're going to be in ICU. We can't do anything to stop this if the medicine doesn't stop it. And he said, you got one vaccine, so we're praying for you. And we hope that the vaccine gives you enough antibodies to turn this around and stabilize. But you're dropping. So he said, it's close. I was like on maximum oxygen flow in the machine. They were talking about putting me on a ventilator and even sedating me, and it was scary. And then the next day he came in and he was smiling really big, and he clapped his hands and he said, you've had a little turn. He said, hopefully you're going to be getting better a little bit. We've stabilized you. The medication may be helping. The vaccine may have caught it right at the edge. He said, but you're on maximum level medication we can give you. We'd be giving you in the ICU. The only thing left is to sedate you and put you on a ventilator. And he said, you've stabilized a little bit. He said, it could be setback, but we're going to do what we can. And he told me to lay on my stomach and let my back expand so I could get more air. And that was really intense. And I was so happy when I turned around a little bit. And then the next day he came in and he said, you've bounced back. He said, we think it's probably because you got a vaccine. And he asked about the vaccine I got and everything. And I told him, I got it early. My wife reserved it. And I got in, luckily, jumped the line there because there was a sudden vacancy, and I was able to get in because of my wife. So he said, because of the vaccine, it helped me to turn around, and I didn't just stabilize, I started recovering really fast. In fact, they said I recovered quicker than almost anybody at the hospital. So they were real happy how far I fell and how fast I bounced back. The doctor said if I had the second shot, I was almost ready to get it. But if I had gotten the second shot, I might have actually not had that deep, close to ICU. He said it probably would have leveled out a little earlier and been a more smoother curve. But instead, it was like a quick downward spiral, and then a bounce off the bottom, and then just bounced right back up pretty fast. So I remember I was at my low point right near ICU, and then I think 3 or 4 days later I was rated as almost normal as far as the transfer of oxygen from my lungs and CO2 to my lungs and my heart and bloodstream. So it dips because it's not as effective as a normal person, but as far as just laying there breathing, it was doing okay. So he was so happy that I bounced back. He was really worried about me, and that kind of care and concern in his eyes, I could see it. He stood there and talked to me for almost 30 minutes one day. He's got other patients and stuff, but he was so worried about me, and he doesn't know me, but you can see how these people, they're people, and people care about people. That's why they do this stuff, not so they can poison you or anything like that. What's going on? I can't believe that anybody would say something like that. Someday, these medical people, I think the whole world owes them a huge debt for all the sacrifice they've done. They're so exhausted. I saw how tired they were coming in, and they still were able to try to keep my spirits up. I told them when I get out of this place, I'm gonna buy them so many donuts and snacks. I'm gonna take it all to their care ward and drop it off for them. They saved my life. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the view of Guam a little bit and my story. It's gonna be a long time, I think, before I'm back to my old self, but day by day, step by step, I'm gonna try to get back there. All right, thanks for listening. I'll make more videos and stuff, and maybe when I get out of here, you'll see some more interesting things than just me gasping for air and trying to finish sentences. But thanks to everybody who's been coming along with me and walking with me through this journey. It's been a really hard time, but a lot of you guys have really lifted my spirits. It was the hardest time of my life to be separated from everybody I love, see people walk in with just masks, and I never saw the people's faces, never saw a single face, just their eyes, and heard their voices through respirators and masks and stuff. And those people, I told them, I don't even know what you look like. I'll never even recognize you on the street, but you're angels, you're heroes, and I love you all for what you did for me. I'll never forget it. You guys all take care, be safe, and don't take any chances. I was in perfect health. I had no problems. And look what this did to me. So you never know. It's weird, this virus. It's weird what it does to people. It'll kill the strong, and it'll leave the weak people sometimes completely, asymptomatic. Don't take a chance. Be careful, man. Take care of your families. Be safe. And take care. See you guys later.